Hi everyone, Sandra Vail here at Homesteading Ways, and today I wanted to talk about the 5 don'ts you don't want to do if you're a beginning homesteader. And some of these I learned the hard way myself, and some of them I just know from other people's experience. And I have my handy dandy notebook here, so if you see me looking down, it's so I can stay on track, don't forget stuff, and don't go rambling on like I am sometimes known to do. So anyhow, let's just jump in and get started. The first one I have is try not to start off too big. Now, a lot of us have a lot of ambition. We're go-getters. We want to go and get it all done and just, hustle. And hustling's good. And having ambition is great. But you don't want to jump into something with both feet. Because it's hard to do more than one thing at a time and be good at it. So when you're looking at starting homesteading, the first thing you're really going to want to do is research. And research can come in many forms. Sure, go ahead and look on the internet. Find some homesteading blogs or Facebook groups, or just some type of reading online from people who are actually doing it, and see all the different methods and the different ideas out there. Go ahead and look up some books. Go to your library, go to a bookstore, go to Amazon, whatever, and read up on everything to do with homesteading there as well, before you decide you're going out and buying 100 acres of land and whatever, you know what I mean? So just try and start off small. Maybe while you're still living in the city or an apartment, start teaching yourself how to can or grow a little garden or bake bread. I feel like homesteading is really better if you do it in steps. And so you just don't want to throw everything out there at once and it's a sink or swim situation, because a lot of times it doesn't turn out well if you do that. So that's number 1. Don't try to go for broke, baby steps sometimes. Number 2 is animals. That is a big one in homesteading. Don't get too many animals. Down the road, sure, but not when you're first starting out, especially if you haven't raised animals before. And it can just end up being so time consuming and drain your finances if you have too many irons in the fire, so to speak. I think personally, when starting off homesteading, if you want to get into animals right away, go small. Get yourself some chickens. Chickens are great to have around, not only for eggs, but you can use them for meat as well. Or you can go ahead and look at getting ducks. Ducks aren't very difficult to take care of, as are rabbits. Rabbits are a really good animal to have on the homestead if you're looking for meat. Or you can also sell your extra kits for pets. So when thinking about animals on the homestead, I know a lot of people want to be self-sufficient and as quickly as possible. I totally get that, I really do. But I do believe you should start off something small. Don't go get chickens and geese and pigs and goats and all that at one time. It's just too overwhelming. Number 3, which kind of ties into what I've already said, is don't spend a lot of money. Do not sink your life savings into one piece of land that you saw on Craigslist. Little by little, and certainly do not get yourself in credit card debt before you even have a flourishing homestead. That's where the research comes in, and go ahead and start saving if you haven't already, or if you do have a savings, try and add a little bit more to it, or get yourself out of debt to begin with if you're already in debt. But don't go and take all your money and stick it into a homestead, the first week you're there. you're going to end up regretting it. So, you know, nothing has to happen today. Tomorrow will come, and so will the day after that, most likely. So you're going to need some cash on hand. You're going to need that little bit of cushion that you've been putting aside. So don't go and put all your money in your homestead right away. Number 4. Now this is a really big one because I learned this the hard way, and if you've been following me for a while, you'll know it too. Don't buy land. Well, actually, go ahead and buy land, but before you do, make sure you check that town and that county or parish or however your land is sectioned off where you live. Make sure to check their ordinances first. There's no point in buying land wanting to go off-grid if off-grid isn't allowed. So we ran into the problem over a year ago. We were living in my father-in-law's house. He and my husband had bought a farm a few hours away. So father-in-law moved to the farm and we took over his house. Father-in-law raised animals there for over 15 years. We were there 2 years raising animals when all of the sudden police showed up saying we couldn't have our chickens anymore and we had to get rid of them or we were going to be fined $300 a day. Now, in the long run, or in hindsight, we see that they never enforced their ordinances there as far as animals were concerned, at least at that house, because it was really set apart from other houses. It was, you know, surrounded by trees, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's seen it. We didn't bother anyone. It wasn't a big deal. But then the city or the township decided they wanted to build a road directly through where our land and house was. And so the beginning of that was them hassling us to get rid of the chickens. And that just turned into a huge problem. And in the long run, it's fine, you know, because that just hustled us to get up here quicker to the cabin. But if we didn't have a plan and we owned that and we had nowhere else to go, that would have been a horrendous problem. I mean, it already was a problem to begin with. It bothered me like you wouldn't know. But it would have been far worse if we found out we were going to be hassled or just we were breaking the law or the ordinance of the township by having those animals. So make sure to know the ordinances of where you're looking to start your homestead. Okay, the last one's number 5. Do not get into homesteading thinking you're going to be making money from your homestead right away, because you probably won't unless you start big and you have a lot of money behind you to start with, which most people don't. It takes some time. It's really going to take some time to get your homestead set up the way you want it. You know, there's a lot of work to be done that first couple of years. But I would say even if you're going to think about selling eggs or meat products or just anything that you can create from the homestead, don't think of doing that or that you're going to make a lot of money or even a significant amount of money to help you with your monthly budget that first year or two, because you're just really not going to. Go ahead and put it in your goals that that's what you want to do somewhere down the line, and you know, always keep it going in your mind that, you know, this is part of your end game for homesteading. But don't expect it, especially not that first year. You're just not going to get that extra income that you're hoping to get. But I so much encourage people to homestead. I mean, it's a wonderful lifestyle, and like I said, do it in steps. Don't try to learn everything all in one day, because you really can't, and then that is when bigger mistakes are made. But start on the road. You know, start researching. Look at areas you'd want to move to. Look at different communities. What kind of house do you need? How big? You know, what kind of animals may you want down the road, and how much land would you need for them, and what kind of housing would they need, and how much is feed going to cost? So it's all kinds of stuff like that, you know, but you don't do it all at one time. You learn a little, you do a little, you learn a little, and that's how homesteading goes. And homesteaders are problem solvers. They don't let anything stand in their way. They just find a way to get it done. So anyhow, I hope I helped you out. and that it gives you something to think about. Don't make these mistakes like a whole bunch of us did. You know, we're trying to help you to further yourself quicker than maybe we did. If you liked the video, thumbs up. That would be great. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. That was awesome of you. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Links are always down in the description box. It was nice talking to you. And you take care.